Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow, right here on 88.3 FM, WXOU, Auburn Hills, Michigan, Oakland University, and all your wonderful station identification features. I am your host, Giovanni Mosheri, and if you're tuning in on TuneIn, then you just heard my little PSA, my little promo, my little station identification that I had recorded here for our promo department, and I was trying to get the timing right, couldn't quite get it, the smooth transition into it. However, the GioMoShow is still here. I'm still your host, Giovanni Mosheri. I'm still a sports media director here at WXOU, and the GioMoShow is still your home for all Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. If you're watching on TuneIn, thank you for tuning in. But if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for tubing in. Giovanni Mosheri here with the GioMoShow. We are live on YouTube, on the GioMoShow's YouTube page. And we are also live on TuneIn on WXOU. Had to miss last week, unfortunately, due to final exams coming up, of which I am not quite finished with, but had enough time to get the GioMoShow rolling for you guys this week. We're nearing the end of the semester, and therefore this would be the last show of this winter semester. And it does still feel a little bit like winter, although spring is hesitantly appearing here. So don't forget to follow WXOU on our MAB award-winning social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Subscribe to WXOU Sports on YouTube for all of our live broadcasts, interviews, highlights, and everything in between from WXOU. Don't forget to follow me on social media as well. All my social media is linked in the description of the YouTube stream here. But for those on TuneIn and for those later on Spotify, where the GioMoShow is recorded and posted always and wherever else you get your podcasts, you can follow me on Twitter at GioMoSheri WXOU, or you can follow the GioMoShow's Instagram page at the GioMo Show. We got a great show for you guys. It's been a lot going on. We're not going to go over entirely the past 2 weeks of sports here. We'll touch on it a little bit, but we'll focus more on the sports that happened this past week. But before we get into that, I got a couple more things I got to tell you guys about. Do you need something fun to do with your friends? Escape rooms are an incredible way to spend time with friends, family, and loved ones. And Escapology is the largest and best escape room franchise in the world. They have escape rooms such as Scooby-Doo, Murder on the Orient Express, The Code, and Under Pressure, and another brand new themed room coming this summer. On Tuesdays through May 31st, buy one full-price ticket and a second person plays free. Use the code TWOFER, that's TWOFER. Visit Escapology.com for more information. Again, that's Escapology.com. Escapology is located at 82 Macomb Place in Mt Clemens. Escapology, where time is of the essence. Do you need something fun to do with your friends? Escape rooms are an incredible way to spend time with friends, family, and loved ones. Escapology is an escape room franchise with a location in Mt Clemens. They have escape rooms such as Scooby-Doo, Murder on the Orient Express, The Code, and Under Pressure. www.escapology.com has all the information you need to get escaping with your friends. Again, that's www.escapology.com. Escapology is located at 82 Macomb Place in Mt Clemens. Escapology, where time is of the essence. And one last announcement just to give you guys what we're going to be broadcasting as far as WXOU sports this week. Tomorrow at 2:30, WXOU will be calling the baseball game. They host Eastern Michigan at the Oakland baseball field. We'll be on the side for that. I will be on PA on site there as well. So if you want to come by to the game, you might hear a familiar voice there. Harsh Buttar and Hannah Fisher will be on the call with Kayla Snell as our producer. That is tomorrow at 2:30. And then this weekend, Friday at 3 p.m. and Saturday at 1 p.m., softball will be playing their home series finale against Robert Morris University. Harsh Buttar and Gavin Smilowski will be on the call for Friday at 3 p.m. And then Brendan Pagel and Harsh will be on the call for Saturday at 1 p.m. for the Golden Grizzlies against Robert Morris. So one more reason to subscribe to WXOU Sports, where you got the YouTube live stream of our audio of that game there, and you can listen to it however way you see fit. So finally, let's get into the GioMoShow now. We got a bit of stuff to talk about here. Baseball and softball are going to be the headlines for this week, but we'll also be ending things off with my senior speech. It's a speech that I've been practicing throughout the semester here. It's been a while since I've given my kind of third take on it. I believe we only got 2 takes in for the senior speech, but we kind of mix it in as well. But we'll be giving the big one, the big senior speech at the end of the show. But before that, we got our baseball and softball to talk about. So let's get into baseball. So they played quite a few games since the last time we spoke here on the GioMoShow back on April 8th. Was the last show that we did here, and we're here the April of the 22nd. But since then, they've played away at Eastern Michigan in a high-scoring, high-flying event. 20-17 was the final score. Golden Grizzlies getting the win in Ypsilanti at Ostrike Stadium. But then they also came back home to play their series against Purdue Fort Wayne. It's a series that we got the chance to call on WXOU as well. It started off a little bit not the way the Golden Grizzlies wanted. 6-11 was a loss in Game 1 against the Mastodons, but Oakland came back. 8 runs in the following 2 games, winning Game 2 8-3, and winning Game 3 8-5. And for more details on this series and this past week of Oakland baseball, I suggest you go to the Golden Grizzlies social media page, where I got that stuff covered, along with Patty Cesarini on the Golden Grizzly Blitz. That one is our last edition for the semester, but that's where you guys get the scoop on this last week of athletics. But let's get into now the current week. Let's get into their past 4 games, all of which were at home at the Oakland baseball field. Starting things off with their Wednesday game, starting at noon sharp, at high noon, against the Akron Zips. This one went into 11 innings of play, and I was just begging for it to be over because I had to study afterwards. I got the chance to, after softball played their game against IUPUI, I was doing the PA for that one, and I got a chance to walk by, and us and some of the softball team, we got to watch the rest of the baseball game. So we got 2 innings extra worth of it. So I'll kind of walk you guys through how the game went. But as mentioned, it went into 11 innings. But then in that 11th inning, so it was tied at 7-7. As it was tied at 6-6. That brought it into extra innings here, and there was no run scored in the 10th inning. Thus, the 11th was needed to decide the match, or to decide the game. And then that 11th inning was filled with walks. It was Akron that was on the mound there, them pitching, them in the outfield there, and it was, how do I put this? It was 3 walks in a row to load the bases, and that's what ended up tying the game and getting it into extra innings. Was walking on the bases there, but they were able to do it again. That in that final walk, it was John Lowinger that was the final at-bat that was walked, and that got the RBI for Trent Rice to come home and call the game, ending it with a win for Oakland against Akron, 8-7 last Wednesday. In that game, Reggie Bussey was 1 of 4 with a run and an RBI. Ben Clark and Brandon Heidel got home runs in this game. Clark with a 2 of 4 at-bats, a run, and 2 RBIs. And Brandon Heidel, 3 for 4 at-bats, 2 runs, and an RBI as well in the win against Akron. But the weekend's big story, the big one, the headline event, was a weekend series against Northern Kentucky, the number 1 team in the league. The team that swept Oakland in their beginning part of the Horizon League season in Northern Kentucky. They now come to the Oakland baseball field to settle the score here. And it started off in Game 1. This was Friday. We had to call for all 3 games of this week as well. So we got all the details of each game on WXOU Sports on YouTube. But Game 1 went about as bad as you can possibly get it for a baseball game. The final score, you would think it was a football. You would think that it was an NFL score. 24-3 was the final score of Game 1. This one in 7 innings, obviously, given the score. But it was bad. I got a chance to see some of it. It was hard to watch. It was tough, and it was bad. We'll leave it at that. 7 home runs were hit by Northern Kentucky, including a grand slam. I think that one was in the final inning, of which NKU had 9 runs. Oakland was just lucky to get the 3 out to get the hell out of there. It was bad, and I was talking to some of the folks next to me. I'm like, this can't happen again, right? This can't be the series, right? That's insane. 24-3. Not so much like, oh, I can't believe Northern Kentucky would be able to keep up this pace. That's not. I mean more like, oh, there's no way Oakland could let this happen again. What was kind of what I'm thinking of, and I was understandably worried about this series, considering that was now the fourth loss in a row to Northern Kentucky, and the team that's at the top of the Horizon League, taking advantage of the youth of the other top two teams, us and Wright State, because they're an old team, as you got to be for college athletics. You got to get old and stay old. That was Campy's philosophy for the basketball season, but 24-3, like that. There's no way this can happen again, right? Right. That is not how the series went. Oakland got back into business in Game 2, where they got 6 runs to go up to 6-0 after the second inning, and that's where all but one of the runs were scored. Oakland was able to take Game 2 with a score of 7-3 to win and equalize the series against Northern Kentucky. I'll walk you through some of the fun stuff here. In that second inning, where Oakland got all of their runs, it was half of which by wild pitches with the bases loaded. You had John Lowinger literally was walked to first, then to second, then to third, and back home. It kept going off of the off of the catcher's foot, and it was an easy score for Oakland. They were able to keep stacking them on 6-0 up until the fourth inning, where NKU made it a 6-2 game. But afterwards, going over into the 8th and 9th inning, each team scored a single run, but that kept the score in favor of Oakland. Once again, final score 7-3 against Northern Kentucky to equal out the series. And before we get into Game 3, I want to say what's up, Eric. How you doing? Appreciate you tuning in to the GioMoShow on YouTube. Be sure to get involved in the chat. If you want to say hi to your broadcaster, you say hi to your lovely host here, soon to be Oakland alumni. Well, sort of. I got a class in the summer, but for all intents and purposes, I'll be graduating this week. But Eric, appreciate you tuning into the show. So, and excuse me, I almost forgot this point about Game 2. The pitching was a significant change for Oakland, as you can imagine, from a 24-run loss. The pitching wasn't as solid there, but Game 2 really turned it around. Shane McClendon pitched for 6 innings and got 9 strikeouts. In that 6th inning of work, only 2 earned runs allowed. And then Brandon Decker came in for the final 3 innings, 4 strikeouts in his 3 innings of work, with 1 run and 2 hits allowed only. And walking only a single batter is Mr. Brandon Decker. We had an interview with him after the game as well. So a shout out to the pitching to turn things around and to hold NKU from 23 points to 3. Or excuse me, from 24 points to 3 points. Runs, excuse me, my baseball vocab. They're called runs, not points. But I wanted to give a shout out to the pitching there as well. So now we get into Game 3. We get into the Sunday game. A winner take all. Will the series be defined by the 24-3 loss, or will Oakland be able to dig deep and dig themselves out? That was decided at the Oakland baseball field just yesterday, and it was an absolute battle. Each team wanted it just as bad as the other. We were tied up at the, what inning was that? That was the 7th inning. We were tied at 4-4. And then in that 7th inning, that's when all the runs broke loose. Carter Hayne was able to get a home run earlier in the game, but all the runs, for all intents and purposes, were scored in the 7th inning. Oakland got 5 runs in the 7th inning, NKU with 4. With those 5 runs for Oakland, there was 2 RBI doubles by Aiden Orr and then Brandon Nye. That got the 2 runs in for Oakland. And then Brandon Heidel slams one beyond the fence for 3 to give Oakland now a 9-7 lead going into the 8th inning. But Northern Kentucky was not ready to quit just yet. They tied the game with a single run in the 8th and 9th inning to force extra innings. Tied it at 9-9 and kept it going. So then in the 10th inning, Oakland was able to shut out the Northern Kentucky Norse in the top to give them a shot, to give them a chance to walk it off in their house and in style. In that bottom of the 10th inning, Trent Rice was able to hit a double to advance himself to second base. Gavin Arsenault, hit by a pitch, was sent over to first base. So now we got Trent Rice at second, and we got Arsenault at first. And then Rice got the guts and got the courage to steal for third base. Oakland had only had one out at the time, so it wasn't putting the whole game on it. However, he had the guts to steal over to third to now put runners on the corner. And all Oakland needed was any kind of hit, any base advancing hit to call this game. And John Lowinger was there for his sacrifice fly to bring Trent Rice home and to end the game, end the series in Oakland's favor. Called it with that sac fly to win it 10-9 in 10 innings and to win the series. Came back from a 24-3 loss and beat them 7-3 and then 10-9 respectively. It was an amazing series against two very good baseball teams. In a series that had a Sports Center #1 highlight. That was in Game 2 where Lowinger was trying to steal a home run. He got a little bit of it, slipped out of his glove, but Reggie Busty was right there at center field to scoop it up underneath. You guys got to check out that highlight. The MLB account posted it. Like just straight up. And it was #1 on SportsCenter. That was a great play. We had that. We had home runs. We had everything in this series, all the drama that you can get, and we love that for Oakland baseball. They now won the series. They stay in the Horizon League standings. They stand in the race for first place. Thanks. Pardon me while I get the standings up here. Pardon me here. But seriously, that series was insane. We got all of the games, all three of them, on WXOU Sports. We got the live streams. We got broadcaster recaps, player interviews, just from that series alone. And we got some from last week as well. So we got plenty of baseball on WXOU Sports. And this series moved up Oakland from third place to second place, just right behind Wright State. Both teams at 11-7 in conference. Northern Kentucky, just one game out in first place, or excuse me, just one game ahead in first place at 12-6 in conference. So first place still very much on the table for Oakland, as they've been the, I believe, second seed in the past 2 seasons, but a regular season championship is at hand for the Golden Grizzlies. And it's exciting, man. So for their upcoming games here, they got tomorrow's game against Eastern Michigan before they head onto the road for their Youngstown State series. That would be this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Youngstown State, just for perspective, last in the league, 5-13 in conference. Not saying that they're complete pushovers. However, Oakland does have an absolute great chance here with wins in Wright State to potentially capture that first place spot as the season is starting to wind down here. So a whole lot of baseball going on for this week. Oakland now stands at 21-18, 11-7 in conference, with 4 series is left to go. The May 3rd, the weekend of May 3rd, not this week, but the following, they will be hosting Wright State. And then the following weekend, they'll be hosting Milwaukee. Then on the road for Purdue Fort Wayne. So the season, we're just past the halfway mark, but this is the time to shine for the Golden Grizzlies baseball team. So with that, we have covered baseball for the past week here. It's been an exciting series of games, that including the midweek game against Akron. We'll be sending it to break here on the GioMoShow, and we'll be right back to get to the softball action that occurred over this week. And excuse the camera for going out here. Come on, come back to me. Either way, we'll get that figured out over the break here. We'll be right back on the GioMoShow with your softball update for the week. And we're back here on the GioMoShow. Be sure to subscribe to WXOU Sports and the regular WXOU on YouTube. Follow us on social media, and be sure to tune into your favorite college radio station. Giovanni Mosheri here for the GioMoShow. Your home for Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. And we just got done talking about baseball as they had an exciting series against the number one team in the league, Northern Kentucky, to now get themselves within one game of first place. We're now talking about the softball team. So if you missed the baseball stuff and you want to hear it, be sure to go to the GioMoShow on YouTube. That's the GioMo Show. To rewind it, to look back, or to find the podcast version of this episode later on the GioMoShow and WXOU's podcasting network. But for now, we got softball to talk about. And as mentioned before, or we kind of went over it for baseball their previous week, that we didn't get quite to cover in the week that I was gone here. Not gone, but like we had the season review on WXOU Sports, the men's basketball season review, that is. But we'll graze through a little bit of the past week's work, and then we'll get into the current week stuff a little bit more in detail. So it was April 9th and 10th. Oakland had a midweek series against Detroit Mercy, the team that had one win going into this midweek series, which unfortunately seems to be a theme with Detroit Mercy Athletics. I think it's a weird thing. But either way, as it stands, Oakland was able to, in the first game of the series Tuesday, end this one in 5 innings with a 10-0 win. And then in the doubleheader, WXOU was there on the call. I was on the call there for Game 2 of the series, as we were only able, sadly, to do just one of it. Or excuse me, we had the call for Tuesday and Wednesday, just not the third game of the series. But the one that I happened to be calling on Wednesday was Detroit Mercy's second win of the season. We lost that game, and I happened to be on the call for that. Oakland drops Game 2, 1-2 to Detroit Mercy. But then in the following game of the series, they were back in form, 8-0, 5-inning win over Detroit Mercy to get at least a series win as opposed to the sweep. But the sweep came later that weekend as they traveled to Green Bay and got that sweep with a 9-1 win in Game 1, 7-4, and then 4-1 wins in the series against Green Bay, giving us now into the midweek series against IUPUI. It was a doubleheader on Wednesday, 10 a.m. and 12:30. It had to be moved up for weather reasons. But in that series, I guess you call it just a simple doubleheader. But yeah, Oakland got the job done against IUPUI, winning the first game 4-2 and then winning the second one 5-0. In Game 1, it was Reese Ruhlman that got a single up the middle to bring not only Macy Brown but Brooklyn Plitz back in for runs to give Oakland a 2-1 lead in the first inning. Then in the third inning, Jen Kritska singled through left side to bring Macy Brown home. And then Jen Kritska, once again, this time in the fifth inning, double to left center to bring Brooklyn Plitz home. That got the 4-1 lead going into the sixth inning. IUPUI would make it 4-2 to make it the final score of Oakland's 4-2 win. This is Game 1 of the doubleheader. And then in Game 2, it was all Oakland, and it was all in the second inning. Cameron Troyer got a double to center field to bring Reese Ruhlman home. Maddie Harrington got a double to the left field to bring Troyer and Tara Caraway home. Macy Brown single up the middle to bring Leah Benovich home. I just learned that I was saying her name wrong the entire time until I was doing PA for this second game. It's Benovich. I've been saying Bienowitz the whole time. I felt so stupid. Either way, Benovich ended up coming home to give Oakland their fourth run, and then Reese Ruhlman was walked with bases loaded to bring Brooklyn Plitz home to give the 5-0 win over IUPUI. So then up to this point, Macy Brown and Cameron Troyer are on an 8-game hitting streak. They've recorded a hit in their past 8 games. That's crazy to think about it. Every time they move the bases at least once. And freshman Brooklyn Plitz, go Dakota Cougars, had an 8-game hit streak herself going into the second game against IUPUI, but just missed out on a 9-game hit streak. Couldn't record one in that second game. So her 8 hit streak goes down, but luckily, as mentioned, there's 2 other ones still active. But just shoot! You thought that a 9-game one was going to keep going, especially against IUPUI. But no matter, Oakland still got the doubleheader win to go up in the standings here. Oakland softball also in the race for first place in the Horizon League. A game and a half behind number 1 Youngstown State. And remember, we got the series win against Youngstown State a couple weekends ago here at the Oakland softball field. But Youngstown State stands at 15-3 in the conference. Oakland 13-4. And behind them is Northern Kentucky at 11-7, as well as Cleveland State 11-7. So Oakland looking for their 3rd regular season championship in a row. They won it in 2022. They won it in 2023. And they're looking to get it in 2024. And then also they won the Horizon League in 2021. Just to kind of, rings for the past at least 3 years, looking for a 4th here. So congratulations to Oakland softball of stomping the Jaguars in this midweek series. Their upcoming games, another Tuesday one at home. They will be hosting the University of Michigan. That'll be Tuesday or tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the Oakland softball field, and then their home series finale. They'll be hosting Robert Morris this Friday and Saturday against the Robert Morris Colonials. And to take a look at the standings here, Robert Morris in 5th place in the league at an even 9-9, so no slouch for sure. But Oakland's going to definitely have to cash in on these to be able to chase down Youngstown State. But that's going to be a great series. We're going to be calling the first 2 games of the season right here on WXOU. So be sure to tune in to that, subscribe to YouTube, or you could just go to the game. And appreciate the team on Senior Day. That'll be Saturday. And Fan Appreciation Day on Friday as well. They got the wonderful game promotions for this week of games here. But you can also check them out on Tuesday for the game against the University of Michigan. So a lot of softball, a lot of baseball going on Oakland's campus. And it's been, it's been a lot going on. We got, to sum it up for you guys, we got 2 of our Diamond Sports in 2nd place in the Horizon League. Oakland, as I mentioned, baseball 2nd place in the Horizon League. Softball 2nd place in the Horizon League with a great chance to be able to each get a regular season championship. That's what's at stake here. How cool would that be? How cool would it be for both sports to get regular season championships? I think that would be so sweet. But it's going to have to take guts and glory for it to happen, and a cheering crowd and an active fan base wouldn't hurt as well. So be sure to either tune in on WXOU Sports or just go to the games. They're free. And it's good to be a good fan. Something we'll be talking about in a little bit here with my senior speech coming up here. But before we go into break here, we got a little snippet of basketball news that I want to talk about before we get into the senior speech stuff. I don't think I'll go the whole 30 minutes, but I'll leave myself the room to do so. But before we go into break here, Friday Night Grooves on WXOU. You can listen to Fridays at 8 p.m., hosted by DJ RBJ since 2011. Friday Night Groove is your home for the best soul, jazz, electronic, indie, and alternative music here at the station. RBJ also has interviews with the artists that he plays on air and has one of the best radio voices in the game. I can't get enough of it. I almost wish that he played less music just so I could hear his voice more. That's how good it is. www.fridaynightgroove.com could be the place to be to find your information on the show. And you can also go and follow at Trill Gunderson on Instagram. That's at TRIL Gunderson for all your latest news on the show. Friday Night Grooves, Fridays at 8 p.m. on WXOU. Hey, rhymes. So we'll be going to break here. We'll get a little bit of basketball news, and then we'll be getting into Giovanni's senior speech on WXOU. Welcome back here to the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM WXOU, live here on TuneIn as well as YouTube. You can find it at the GioMoShow on YouTube. Nothing else spelled like it. You're sure to find it. So now we've talked about baseball and we've talked about softball. Talked about their fantastic weeks of work and talked about how they're both second place in the Horizon League standings with a chance to get their each respective regular season championships. We talked all about that. We got a little bit of basketball news before we get into my senior speech, my kind of last, or not last, I'll probably be doing this again, but the big sending off message for those still at the university or those who have gone beyond. But we'll be getting into that. So a little bit of that basketball news. A lot of recruits coming in for Oakland. We got, I won't be going through all of them, but we got some nice recruits coming in for Oakland, and and that big spotlight of the NCAA tournament run is sure to give Oakland a spotlight for that one. But one name that really stuck out for me was a familiar one. And it was one that I wasn't, I hesitated for a second when I saw the graphic of him in an Oakland jersey. You know him from the Cleveland State Vikings. You know him from the 2021 Horizon League Tournament Championship. Cleveland State Vikings. You know him as the man who torches us from the three-point line very often when we play them in conference. Jason Woodridge is now a Golden Grizzly. Woody has come to Rochester. I thought it was so cool just to see that. Everybody was talking about it. They had their Woody from Toy Story gifts ready and all that kind of stuff. And he's a good sport about it. He was active on social media, talking with all the new fans. But my message to him was, welcome to OU, and we promise any haircuts will no longer be directed at you. So I just thought that was really fun. He's a fantastic player, and if you're a 3-point shooter like he is, he was a 35% 3-point shooter for Cleveland State last season. This is the place to be for 3-point shooting. I mean, if Jack Golke's season and if Blake Lammons' season, along with in the past, you got Travis Bader and other 3-point shooters like that. If they're any example, if they're any example to the country, this is the place to go for 3-point shooting. If you could shoot it, we're gonna let you, and you're gonna be scoring points for us too. And it's really cool to. And it's kind of a greater point here. I know we kind of did it last year when we got Isaiah Jones from Detroit Mercy, but it just feels cool to get guys within the conference because you feel like the big dog in the conference when you're starting to steal players from the other teams, and you're starting to look like a better, the destination in the Horizon League. It's just such a cool feeling to be in that way, and it's looking like our starting lineup potentially is looking really good. I don't have notes for it specifically. I'm not going to go off of it from the top of my head, but it's going to look cool for next year, man. Yes, we're losing Townsend. Yes, we're losing Lampman, Golke, and Watts. Big losses, yes, absolutely. But we got great talent coming in as well. That's what you got to do, and that's what you got to do for college basketball, especially nowadays. You're going to have great guys, and you're going to lose them quick because you got them old. Lampman and Townsend not necessarily part of that example, but you got to replenish. Oakland is looking to be doing that right now. And it's exciting to see that we could potentially have another, I'm not calling for another Kentucky win, but it's not the end for Oakland basketball. We're retooling, man. It's an arms race in the Horizon League. And I just thought that was really fun to mention. So Jason Woodridge, if you're watching, welcome to OU. Appreciate having you, along with all the other recruits that were announced in the past couple of weeks. But now it is time, folks. We'll see if I take it the entire way here, the entire hour, but it is now time for my senior speech. It's one that I've been practicing for the past few JOMO shows, and looking back at it, I probably haven't gotten another crack at it since late March, but it's something that I'm constantly thinking about, kind of, what, after all this time here, what kind of messaging do I have for those that have future years as a Golden Grizzly? For those who are incoming freshmen and new Golden Grizzlies, as a senior, I feel like it's my duty, and especially a senior that has a microphone in front of him, it is my duty to impart my wisdom onto them and to give them a scoop as to what it's like to get to the ripe age of 22. So I've been really excited to talk about this. So I want to start things off first with a big thank you. And I'm not going to go listen to all the people that have helped me along the way, because my fear of forgetting somebody is too great. However, I do still want to give big thank yous to, first of all, WXOU, to this place here, to this station for doing what it has been doing for 50 plus years, for allowing anybody who wants to and has a drive to become a star in whatever level they consider it. To allow anyone to get in front of this microphone here and to be on the airwaves of WXOU, whether it's FM or tune in, mostly tune in. But to allow anybody to do that is an extraordinary thing, and it's something that I want to first and foremost thank WXOU for. And I'm walking across the stage later this week. I will still be doing the GioMoShow even afterwards, but this feels like the right time. This is the last show that I have here as a full-time student here at Oakland University. But I first want to thank WXOU. I want to thank the staff here, all the staff, because doing what we have done here at WXOU Sports is not strictly due to the works of those of us directly in sports. Our music director, our program director, general manager, everybody had a hand in some way or another in helping us do this. First and foremost, to allow us to kind of become a big part of the content creation here that we have at the station is great. It is something that they could have, shot down if they wanted to. They could have not allowed us the space and the airtime and the resources to be able to do this. I don't know why they would, but they had the ability to do so, but they chose to let us do it. They liked what we were doing, and it allowed us to have more of that opportunity to expand it. In addition to that, I want to thank Oakland Athletics for kind of the same point, and especially given the rough history that WXOU has had with athletics, based on what I've heard from years beyond mine. Sometimes it's been a rocky relationship with WXOU and Oakland Athletics, but the staff there now, the administration at the athletics department, has been absolutely nothing but welcoming and helpful and excited that we are calling their games, that we are getting involved, that we are spotlighting their athletes, and that we are kind of trying our best to create a buzz around athletics. So, and they've been nothing but helpful to us. So I want to give a big thank you to them for giving us the space, the resources, and the time and attention to be able to do what we did, to grow basically from scratch. We had to start over since there was really nothing left after COVID as far as the sports went. So a big thank you to athletics for helping us at WXOU, but also for helping me personally, for helping me grow as a sportscaster. When I got the call to do sideline reporting for the ESPN broadcast past January of 23, I was floored to be kind of given that opportunity. Just kind of based on the small stuff I've been doing on social media and through our broadcast here, that kind of was a big point to push me more towards the professional world of broadcasting. So for opportunities like that, and for being able to call games, be the play-by-play for the ESPN Plus broadcast, for doing the Odyssey broadcast for the Horizon League quarterfinals, I was on the call along with Drew. We were on the call on Odyssey on the professional radio. And Athletics was trusting enough and was kind enough to us to give us that opportunity to do so. So a big thank you to Athletics and to all the coaches and staff and athletes that I've either gotten to directly interview on the GioMoShow here, or for post-game interviews. Just everyone at Oakland here has been nothing but cooperative and excited for us to kind of participate in it. Club sports as well. no one has really given us a hard time in allowing us to cover them. That's not common in college athletics to treat your student media that way. Not all schools do that. Not all the big shot schools, the Big Ten, or even I can't speak for the other conferences necessarily, but like student media doesn't always get the opportunity and the access that we do, and it's all thanks to those who allow it, coaches and players and administration and staff. They've allowed us to, and we're nothing but grateful for that opportunity. And I do also want to thank, again, I don't want to get into specific names here and embarrass anybody, but I want to thank all those individuals, all the broadcasters that I have been able to meet and get connected with, and those who have given me further opportunities here in the summer and beyond. For all those that I have met and gotten contact with and feedback and advice from all of you, from Oakland and beyond. I want to thank you guys for taking an interest in me, either for play-by-play opportunities, for content creation, or just for simply some feedback on my content, for answering whatever questions that I have about the professional world of broadcasting. I want to thank you guys everybody, for all that you've done in helping me either get opportunities or simply just stay encouraged. To stay passionate and to stay hardworking in something that I am very passionate about. So thank you to everybody who's had any involvement with me in terms of sports. We could go even beyond to Oakland, to the OSI, and we can get to administration in that sense, SAFAC, and all that stuff. You guys awarded me with SAFAC Committee Member of the Year. I wasn't able. Sadly, I wasn't able to make it and accept the award in person. But like that's big. That's a big deal to me. That means a lot. That everybody has been, kind of helping me along and encouraging me to go along. So that's 15 minutes of thanking people. So what the message or messages that I want to bring to the rest of campus, to as a senior speech, as a legacy statement. First of all, I want to kind of give the advice. You are not given your passion. You have to go and find it. That's something that I've learned from all the WXOU stuff that I've done here, all the other broadcasting stuff that I've done here. If I didn't get involved in WXOU, there's no way that I would want to be, that I would want to work this hard and to do this much for broadcasting, because I would never have known. I would never have gotten the experience. I would never, there is no possible way that I could be here without getting involved. And it's not just, listen, I heard the cliches when I was going into college. I heard people tell me, you got to get involved. You got to get involved. But what does that actually mean? I get frustrated with that kind of cliche blanket statement of get involved. It doesn't mean anything when they say just the two words like that. Let me give you a little bit more detail and a little bit more solid direction when it comes to getting involved at Oakland University or any university that you go to. I just hope it's Oakland. But it doesn't just mean go to a meeting and leaving it at that. It means more than that. It starts with that, but it means more than that. You have to, like I said before, you're not given your passion. You don't just happen to see what you like and what really drives you. You have to go out and find it. You have to go to meetings. You have to, sign yourself up for stuff. You're not signing a lifetime contract to participate in this club or to do this volunteer event. You're not signing your life away to just do it. But you got to go and find it. Find stuff that's interesting. Go to a meeting. If you don't like it, that's fine. But don't stop looking. Don't stop at just one club. And if they rubbed in it, if their attitude rubbed you the wrong way, that's fine. Go find something else. You got to keep searching. It's not a once and done. You got to constantly do it until you find what you love, until you find something in the find people that you like, and find events that you're working and stuff you're creating. Keep going until you find it, and then once you find it, you got to work at it. You got to make yourself, make a difference in that organization. And again, make a difference. Another blanket cliche statement that doesn't mean anything. What I mean by that is to invest yourself in the organization that you're a part of. When you find what you like, you got to dig into it. You got to want it to be more. Work at the events. Be an advocate. Be a representative and be a promoter of what you do. Get other people involved. Build the brand of it. When I say make a difference, I mean make it so that when you leave, it's different than when you found it. That you and your time that you spent was worth something. That you can walk away saying, I did that. I helped make this bigger. I helped put this event on. I helped started this new tradition. Put your name on the organization that you work with. It's no use to join 17 clubs and do nothing in all of them. People, it doesn't mean anything if you just do it for a resume. If you join a club just so you can say you did it. People look at that and they know that you didn't do anything there. If you are in 17 clubs, how could you possibly, if you're in all these clubs, how could you possibly make a difference in any of them? You don't have the time to do it. So when I say get involved, I mean find a few clubs that you like. Find a few things that you want to build into make better, and dig yourself into it. Invest yourself in it. Become a representative of that organization. Make that your thing. It's okay if people don't think it's cool. You keep looking and you keep working. And this gets to another point of mine. Is you can't be weak in your passion. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that in your passion, if in doing what you want to do, you can't crumble under just a little bit of pressure or scrutiny or teasing. People are going to do that. You know the amount of people that told me to stop wasting my time, to tone it down, that nobody cares about what I'm doing. I heard that a lot. I got scoffed at a lot. I try telling people about Oakland sports, and they don't care because it's not MSU and it's not U of M and it's not these big national it's not these big national brands. People told me that they don't care. How easy would it have been for me to just say, you know what? You're right. I should just stop. I should take a week off of the GioMoShow. Heck, let me take a month off because nobody cares. No one listens. There's no views on it. You can't have that attitude if you're doing something that you love and you're building something. Don't let the initial teasing and that small amount of pressure make you crack. If you want to do something great, you're gonna have to bury your head and go and get through that. Because you got to know that what you're doing is worth more than the simple approval of people that don't even care anyway. You can't be weak in your passion. Don't let people tell you that what you're doing is not significant. You know it. So you do it. And another part of that is like when you're doing something, you got to let people know that you're serious about it. Because only then will they know that you're serious about it. That's the thing. If you're doing something willy-nilly and you don't care about it, why would anybody else care about it either? You got to care about what you're doing, and then maybe other people will care about it. But it starts with you. It all starts with you. Once they find out you're serious, then they'll get serious too. So you got to be able to do that. In my final segment of my senior speech, kind of gets into the get involved part, but be a fan. Enjoy your university. Wear your colors. Go to games. I'm going to focus mine a little bit more to sports, but go to games. Be a fan of your school. This goes into the last point. If you're serious about it, other people might start to get serious about it too. You got to be the example to how to be a fan of Oakland University. You got to go to games. You got to get loud and cheer. Be invested in it. Who cares if it's not on national TV? This is your university. You, whether you want to or not, whether you want to be or not, you are a Golden Grizzly for life. So you might as well enjoy it. You might as well represent it. And you might as well be a fan of your university. It's not, and it goes beyond whether the teams are good or not. Of course it helps. Of course it's better when they are. But if you're going to be a real fan, that stuff shouldn't matter. All that matters is the jerseys that they're wearing. Oakland University, the black and gold. That's what you are. You and the players that you're watching, especially as a student, those are your friends out there. They represent what you represent. You might as well be a fan. Get loud. Get excited. Tell your friends to come. All these games are free. Other universities don't offer that. U of M does not give away free tickets to any student that just wants to go to Chrysler Center and watch basketball. No. Those tickets are expensive. But at Oakland University, for students, it's all free. You can't find that elsewhere. Take advantage of it. Be a fan. Make a day out of it. It's so much more fun when you just buy in and when you have fun with it. I don't know why it's cool for people to hate on their university. I don't know why people think it's cooler to say, ha ha, but they stink. What fun is that? To hate on your university like that. I'm not saying that you got to worship them at the altar. All I'm saying, but like you got to, break away from that. That's that kind of stigma that just doesn't amount to anything. All that does is keep you at home. Keeps you in the dorm. Keeps you in the apartment. And then what? You're missing out. That's what. You got to be a fan of your university. You got to have some fun with it, because let me tell you something about being in the student section. There's nothing like it. You only have a few years to be in the student section at all games. You got a little bit more leeway to what you say to the opposing team. Don't get kicked out. Don't be rude, but you could be a little wilder. You could be a little louder. You could dress up and paint your face or wave a flag. As a student, you have that flexibility. You have that freedom. You could do it as an alumni, but when you're a student, that's the best time to be a fan. You don't get to do that the same way when you're an alumni. So take advantage of it now while you're a student. Go to the free games, because they're not always free when you're an alumni. They're free when you're a student. So take advantage. Cheer on your team. Whether it's just you by yourself. I went to a lot of games by myself. It doesn't matter if your friends don't want to go with you. If you want to see the Golden Grizzlies, you go and do it. Like I was saying before, you can't let your your passion, in this case your fandom, you can't let it be shaken by just a little bit of added pressure. By just a little bit of, no, I don't want to go with you. Nah, I'm good. No, that team stinks. Why would I want to go and watch that? You can't let that stop you. By you going, you'll find people that like going to the games because they're at the games. You got to do it. You got to take advantage. The old arena just got a huge makeover. They got a big, beautiful, glowing sign. Athletics is up. With that season from Mt Clemens basketball, now there's a new buzz here. You guys, you got to make this count. Stuff like this doesn't come across mid-major basketball or mid-major universities very often. Cash in on it now. Be a fan. Get to the stands. Wave your flag. Start new traditions. Start new chants and cheers. And make sure that everyone knows that you're a Golden Grizzly fan. There is no shame in it if you love it as much as you do. If you love your team, there is no shame that anyone can put on you for loving it. Don't let anyone tell you that Oakland's not cool. Don't let anyone tell you that Oakland doesn't have anything going on campus. Don't let anyone tell you that their sports are no good. They're not worth your time. They're free. They're free for you. And fandom is always free. So that's what I want to leave to you guys. As I go off with the cap and gown, I want to see you guys in the arena. I'll be there. So I want to see you guys there. I want you guys to pack the stands and be up and be loud and be passionate and to find your passion and to go with it no matter what anyone says. Don't ignore good advice, but if it's just simple teasing, you can't crack under that pressure. You got to love what you do, and you got to love the school that you represent. That's going to close it out here on the GioMo Show, 88.3 FM WXOU. This has been Giovanni Mosheri's last edition as a full-time student. This now begins a new chapter of the show as a part-time student, and then later as an alumni of Oakland University. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for all your help in getting me to this point. And we'll see you next Monday.